Is hiring a coach going to be a mistake for you this year? Now, this time of year, a lot of us are thinking about what we're going to focus on the next 12 months. It's January, we're thinking about what changes do we want to make. One of the ways you can do that is by hiring a coach. And you'll probably have seen already, there's a lot of coaches out there right now with a lot of deals, a lot of ads saying, hey, here's why you should work with me to help solve this problem. Right off the bat, this is not one of those videos. I'm going to be closing down the tribe enrollment next week, and I'm not going to be taking on anyone for anything for a little bit because I'm actually busy enough and I don't want to take on more and more work. So yes, I'm a coach, so this cannot be totally unbiased. However, this is not a disguised sales pitch about how here's why everyone else is rubbish and why you have to work with me. There are other great coaches out there, some that I work with as well. So this isn't me just trying to rubbish the competition, but I do want to make sure that you understand what to look for when you're hiring a coach, because whether that is working with somebody at a higher level one-to-one, or it's just looking at their online courses, you need to understand this. You need to understand what separates the great coaches from the ones who are, they're trying, but they don't really know how to coach, because there's no barrier to entry to being a coach. You can just print off the business cards and start calling yourself one. It's not like being a chiropractor where it's a licensed degree and a qualification. Anybody can be a coach. And just because they've gone to the coaching academy, that again doesn't mean they actually know how to do it necessarily. There's plenty of chiropractors out there who qualified who aren't very good. And to do this, you need to understand how most of us get into coaching. And this was kind of my story to a degree as well, is that we had a problem and we spent a lot of time researching it and we found a solution that worked for us. And that certainly happened to me. I was really into the communication. I knew that was really important. And I found an approach that worked for me. And it worked pretty well and it got me where I wanted to be. Now, if I was like most coaches, I would have stopped there and I would have just started selling coaching. In fact, what most coaches do is when they do this and they realize that, I can only sell my time to patients. There's a limit to how many patients I can see how much I can earn. But with coaching, there's no ceiling because I could scale it much more easily. Many of them they go full in on selling that one program. And this, to be honest, is the majority of coaches and programs out there. They are one fix to one problem that works for one type of person. Now, if you are that type of person and you have that same problem and you want the same outcome that they had, great, this can work for you. However, if that's not the case, you're probably going to run into problems pretty quickly because they're going to tell you how they got to where they wanted to be in a way that worked for them. So it's based on their personality and characteristics because it's a simple fix. And it had to only work for them. It got them where they wanted to be, which may not be the case for you. And it assumes that you had exactly the same problem, which is not always necessarily true. These simple fixes, yes, it can sound like a simple fix. It's more of a quick fix. Now, that's really appealing on a sales page. You'll often see they'll sell their program about how it's simple. You just follow this 5-step formula and you'll get all this stuff you want. Because simplicity sells. We'd all love it if somebody said, give me some money, I'll make your life more simple. That's attractive. The reality is that life is not that simple. Human beings are not that simple. And being a chiropractor is not that simple. This is why for me, yes, I could have just stopped. I found a model that works for me. I'm going to teach this. However, because of who I am, I love psychology. I'm fascinated by what makes us tick, how our brains work. I didn't stop and I kept learning. And I also started realizing, I'm not just doing this. This isn't just about having clients and making money. I really wanted to see the difference it made for people. What gets me fired up more than anything is where somebody says, hey, I tried this thing and this problem I was having, I resolved, I'm so much happier. That's what gets me fired up. And quite quickly, I realized that just giving people information didn't work. It's like with your patients, just giving them stretches and exercises doesn't mean they're going to do it. I had to learn how to actually teach. And a lot of coaches don't bother doing that because in the short term, they're looking at that's really hard and that's really difficult. And I can sell this by saying it's simple. And if it doesn't work, I can say, well, look, it's my way or the highway, or you just got to keep doing it more. But that's not who I am. So that's why, when somebody comes to me and says, I've tried this, it doesn't really work, I'll then offer them a different version or offer them a different solution. We'll go, okay, in your practice, because of who you see, that may be different. Let's tweak that. Let's change that. A lot of coaches can't do that because they just have one simple thing. If you're holding a hammer, everything looks like a nail. If all you can do is adjust and you can't recommend when somebody should look at their diet, should look at, some exercises, should look at some soft tissue, doesn't mean you have to do it. But you can at least recognize when other parts need to be involved. You won't be able to help that many people. That's true for quite a lot of coaches out there as well. So what should you do? Well, the key thing, and it's not a sexy answer, but it is to just do your research. Right now, there's a bunch of offers out there. There's a bunch of time limited stuff join now before this offer goes away. It's part of that. There's a genuine reason to put urgency in then. It's because the easy thing for people to do is always say, maybe later. And by having some urgency, you'll go, well, there's time to make a decision. But the other reason is to kind of rush people. Because if you did the research, you might go, I've asked around and actually this person not got the best reputation, didn't really help a lot of people there. Don't just trust the testimonials, because all of us can pull out testimonials, unless we're brand new as coaches, anybody can do that. Ask around, ask in Facebook groups, ask friends, ask colleagues, go, hey, has anybody worked with this person and would mind sharing their experience a little bit? And then they'll often, DM you. Private message or something like that. Like, I've worked with coaches that I absolutely would not recommend that I think everyone should stay away from. Like, I've made mistakes a whole bunch of times. I'm not going to share that publicly. I'm not going to rubbish somebody in a public forum. That's just not who I am. However, if somebody messages me and said, hey, I think I'm going to work with so-and-so, what do you reckon? I am going to give my honest opinion. So ask around, engage in conversation. It's not easy, it's not quick. Yes, you may not be able to jump on it and get the dopamine hit from joining the program right away, but find out from people, well, did it work for you? And if it didn't, what happened when it didn't work? How did they approach that? Did they work with you to try and find a solution that worked for you? Or did they just go, well, it's my way or the highway? Because if it's a my way or a highway approach, the odds of them being able to help you are significantly lower. Not saying they can't, because nearly everybody can help anybody, but that doesn't mean that they're going to be able to help you. So I'd have a think about that. Like I said, I'm actually going to be closing down enrollment for the tribe. I realize how it sounds. It can sound like there's a little bit of urgency going on. This isn't the case. This tribe launch that we did last year has been incredibly successful. I had record numbers of people join up. And I'm actually, at the moment, I'm just onboarding a team of 9 different clinics that want me to train all of their practitioners as well. So I've actually got more clients than I need or want. So I am going to be closing down membership for the tribe, as well as that the new graduate pricing I offered to everybody is going to be going away as well. So when I first put this out, I've offered the new graduate price of £97 a month to everyone. That'll be going away. So when I do reopen this, I haven't decided when yet. Maybe a little bit later in the year. But when I close it, it's going to be going up to the regular $197 a month price. If you are somebody who's been keen to do that, you can jump on it now and I'll honor that original pricing for you. But if not, there's no rush. Yes, it's January. Everybody's thinking about the change they want to make. That doesn't mean you should rush into something right now because you're panicked or you're worried. It's not like I'm never taking on anyone again. It's not like I'm the only person who can help when it comes to communication. There's other coaches out there. I would just say, do your research, plan out, ask around a little bit. Make sure this is somebody who knows how to help your problem, not somebody who's just selling a simple solution. Because if it's a simple solution, a lot of the time it's not going to work because the problems that we have are rarely simple. If they were simple, most of the time we could solve them ourselves. So have a think about that. If you are looking for a recommendation for a coach in a particular area, whether that's to do with patient management, like assessment, whether that's to do with rehab, nutrition, business coaching, I don't have an exhaustive list. I can't say I've got a great coach for everybody, but I know some excellent people who really know how to do their stuff. So if you are looking for anybody, just shoot me an email, drop me a message. I'd be more than happy to help. Otherwise, I'll see you soon for another video. Take care, everyone.